We'll see a couple of showers or a mixed rain snow shower overnight. Temps in the 30s on Thursday. A couple of showers in the morning. Then it will turn a little breezy and colder. Temps will drop into the upper 20s, low 30s late in the day with a snow shower. Much colder on Friday. Temps in the 20s. A couple of snow showers in the air. And on Saturday, a bit of wet snow or a mix in the 30s. I'm Rich Canilia for the Voice of Liberty.
WYSL.
Rock on. Harley.
Jingle next.
On Power Sports, West Henrietta Road. Shop the greatest selection of legendary Harleys and save big on a wide array of used bikes. And Rock On Power Sports has rides from Honda, Kawasaki, and Yamaha. Rock On has a helpful staff to save you big money. The Rock On Service Department has expert technicians and a great supply of parts to get and keep you on two wheels. WYSL listeners get $500 off used motorcycles while supplies last. Rock On has side-by-sides, ATVs, and jet boats too. Anything that's fun and goes fast. On and off-road and on the water, shop the all-new Rock On first. Rock On Harley Davidson and Rock On Motorsports, 2600 West Henrietta Road. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Call 424-2120. Visit rockonharleydavidson.com.
WYSL.
The WYSL stations bring you Jose Pio and LaVelle Lewis and your weekly dose of PCP. It's your hour of common sense with the politically correcting podcast and show.
You get the power to let power go. Oh man, what a week, what a week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us as we talk that talk. Some may think it's nonsense, but those of you out there who have half a brain know that we only speak the truth here with the politically correcting voice of Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio. Local power company, RGE, as many of you know, they're warning customers that their energy bills are going to be higher this month. But they say they're not the ones to blame. Utilities are only responsible for the cost associated with the delivery of energy to customers. The supply cost of gas and electricity is a price that energy generating companies set and is passed through to customers. This is what News 10 is reporting here, what RGE is saying. Now, I wanted to talk about this because, number one, I know that you worked for them before. And number two, three reasons. Number two, I know most Republicans were against a publicly owned utility company here in Rochester, as well as the fact that it was blocked by Adam Bello for the legislation to even look into it. But what is the alternative in your eyes for folks who are becoming overly burdened with these rises in utility costs?
It's the market, man. It really is the market, unfortunately, and they are correct. I was in the billing department, so everything about your bill I had to know and understand line by line. Every single part of your bill there's so many moving parts of what makes that final number, but that supply cost is one of the main things. So your price per kilowatt, how much you pay for your electricity, it's all down to each measured number of your usage. So 1 kilowatt can range between 5 cents per kilowatt or up to 15 cents per kilowatt, depending on the demand. And that usually happens around summertime when everybody's using their AC units.
And during the daytime.
Right.
Because when I go to plug in my beautiful hybrid Jeep that I hate, absolutely despise, actually, can't wait for the lease term to be over with because I do not like it one bit. I make sure I plug it in at night. Yeah. Because it's cheaper. And it takes 14 hours to fully charge so I can go 22 miles on full electric, which is a freaking sham in my eyes.
That's why some people resort to demand meters. So if you are like on a farm or you're at a place that uses a lot of electricity, your demand meter is set to give you a discounted rate depending on when you're not using that electricity or it's just running, at a certain hour, you're on peak or you're off peak time, you're going to get a lower rate. A higher rate. But you're on peak time and you're using the most, that's when you're going to get a lower rate. So that's kind of how they work that out. But
they said nighttime and weekends are the best time for the lower rates.
Right. But then when you go to the gas, just like what goes on at the pump, your cost per therm is a problem too. And again, the way RGE, goes out and finds your energy costs. What they say, what I learned, is they go out to the open market and they go out and get the cheapest price for you. So they're trying to find the cheapest rate per month, allegedly, right, to bill you. But again, they don't get paid off of that supply. They do get paid off of your actual usage and your delivery charge. So it's called a merchant function charge, right? So the cost to go out and get it, it's on your bill. And then your delivery charge, the cost to bring it to you, to bring through your lines, bring through your pipes. But if you want to gripe, if you want to yell in the News 10, yell in the News 8, social media, none of that stuff matters. Your Public Service Commission is who you need to talk to, because they are the ones that agree with, they are the ones that allow RGE to set those prices. And it's by the state. The New York State Public Service Commission are the ones that kind of regulate RGE.
I want to blame Republicans, though.
Why?
Because you guys were against the publicly owned utility company.
And you're still going to have that same problem. You're going to allow the city of Rochester to be in charge of going out there trying to find the cheapest rate for electricity and gas from the open market. You're going to let the city of Rochester be in charge of clearing up debris off of the power lines and reinstalling poles that get blasted by drunk drivers all the time.
Well, I see that Fairport does it well. I see that Spencerport does it well.
Fairport is a small radius of energy that they have to be responsible for.
And they're subsidized too.
Correct. So the perks that a lot of folks on the left that claim, like gingers on city council who are leading this charge of public utilities, the cost, the amount of money to kind of maintain the infrastructure for the city of Rochester is billions of dollars.
Aren't we paying that anyways, though?
No, because Iberdrola, they knew from when they bought RGE years ago, they knew the infrastructure issues and the amount it was going to cost to kind of fix up our grid. They didn't do it. They haven't done much. This is from...
Why haven't they put it underground? Why are we still doing lines above the earth?
There's a lot of lines underground. A lot of
it seems like they're all in the suburbs and not in the city.
Yeah, but still, it still doesn't stop a transformer from taking down a whole entire area, especially like Webster, who, just from my experience, they experience so many outages out in Webster. Getting calls from those folks. They're like, what are you guys doing? I'm spending all this money. I can't even keep my TV on for a week.
Yeah, where life is worth living.
It's tough. I know it's tough. I fielded so many phone calls from customers who are really tired of the RG&E and just their lack of care.
So what's the answer? We can sit here and complain about it all.
The answer is, like I said, talk to the Public Service Commission. There is never any talk about taking any type of arguments to them, because a lot of customers don't know that, they are the ones that approve anything that RG&E places on your bill.
Where would you find this commission?
You can look online, New York State Public Service Commission, or on RG&E's website. They also give that to you. It might even be on your bill as well, where they say if you have any complaints, you can call the Public Service Commission, call PSC. When they started to install the smart meters,
we're going to get into that.
Yeah, well, I raised a question about some of the complaints about smart meters in other areas. A lot of people complain about having vertigo, getting nauseous. Some smart meters caught fire in certain areas, and I brought that to their attention when I was working there for a short stint. I was like, "Nah, I'm done with this. Let me get up out of here. Can't stay here." But anyway, when they were training, I asked the question. I said, "What is the state's view on the amount of radiation that can come from these smart meters?" They said, "Well, the state knows. They agreed that the radiation levels are not harmful,
right? But
they know that they emit radiation from these smart meters. They know that, but they're saying that they're below the kind of legal limit of radiation,
below the threshold that would be deemed." It's the same thing with cell phones. Yeah. The cell phone, if you read the actual book that comes with it, it tells you to keep your phone, your earpiece, an inch away from your ear. Do not put it directly up to your head because of exactly that issue. And then when we'll get into that conversation a little bit more. I think, Dr. Bob, you had something you want to add to that?
Yeah, you asked the question a couple paragraphs back about, what can we do?
Mhm.
Well, the thing to do in New York State would be to have a forward-looking program to build nukes in the state.
Mhm.
So, number one, we cut down on the transmission costs of power. And number two, it's a completely safe and the cheapest way to generate power, electricity.
Well, we had our plant, Grenade plant that they shut down. That could be a reason why they shut it down, because you could make more money with the current system that we have.
But nukes are the way to go. I mean, it's inexpensive and extremely safe, and then we're not dependent on buying, energy from Canada, from New England.
We know that at this point that is the better way to go. How come it has not been?
Because we're spending all of our money on illegal aliens. You take that, instead of blowing billions of dollars on resettling illegal migrants, we spend that on our state, our infrastructure.
I don't think FEMA is paying for that. I don't know.
I do think that, just to kind of give my take on how customers are treated with RG&E, I do think that there is something to that. They do not care about their customers as much as they claim they do. The delivery cost has never gone down. I mean, the profits has always gone up. These little nickel and dime charges that you get on your bill they've starting to, creep up on customers. So there are ways that, within this argument, we can make a point as a customer. I'm a customer. We're all customers of RG&E.
You're forced into it.
Right.
You cannot be a customer.
Right. You cannot be a customer of RG&E, but they are correct, though, where they say that, at least they're giving you a heads up, because they don't want the phone calls, and their customer service representatives are going to get bombarded with, you guys ain't this, you guys ain't that, but it's not their fault. Gas is going up. Electricity is going up. What can you do?
I guess as long as they're giving the reach around, we should be okay.
That's what it is, but it's the market. The market dictates everything.
I agree, but there's no market for this one. It's an oligarchy. I think oligopoly. There we go. Oligopoly. But we got to take a little break here. 585-346-3000 is the number to call. WYSL station. We are the voice of liberty. We are the politically correcting voice. About Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio. Give us a call. Tell me your issues with the RG&E and maybe the smart meters, which we'll jump into right after this break.
Pickable 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Pickable 762s, I make them plain. Pickable popping out, you better smell my name.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Youth for Christ Rochester is focused on keeping kids safe and healthy. We provide a Christ-like culture in our skills and drills, Friday night or Saturday morning basketball. And we're so excited to start all 3 versions of our new God's Girls middle school programs. Consider connecting your business or ministry to one of these vital programs for City Youth through a sponsorship. Reach me at mhennessy@yfcrochester.org or support us online with a one-time or monthly gift. Go to yfcrochester.org/donate.
Pod Computers, 1515 Monroe Avenue. Save more, get more at Pod Computers. Prompt on-site service for local businesses. Pod can upgrade your old, slow PC better than new. Pod Computers, 244-2240. Podcomputers.com.
I'm Mason from
Last Spot.
Looking for fresh food? Come to Tom Walls and enjoy our juicy cheeseburgers and heaping fries, which will leave you wanting more. Tom Walls, serving only the best since 1955.
Keith.
Politically correcting.
All right, welcome to our world here at the Politically Correcting Show. About Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio. We got Keith on the line. Keith, how you doing, brother?
I have the answer, but you're all going to hate my guts. I'm an RG&E customer. I've never had a problem with them. The Channel 10 investigative reporter, Jennifer Lukey's done a very good series on RG&E. The reason I've never had a problem with them, everyone, I'm always in credit in the black with RG&E. I have a noticeable credit with them. I'll give you an example. I already had a credit, but just last Thursday in the 3 p.m. hour, I plowed another $400 into my account. I've always been ahead, and that is the exact opposite from what I've heard from different people. As many as 30 to 35,000 RG&E customers are in arrears, and these community activists said they went after RG&E for shutting customers off. Well, if you don't pay any bill, you're going to get shut off. And they were saying, well, like in the wintertime, no. I understand that I am fully a single guy, but anyone have to budget, and for them to have that many customers in arrears, I think RG&E does even an immaculate job. I've never had any problem with a billing. There was a hiccup in this area when we got our smart meters last October. Something went awry in their billing system, and I believe I went 2 billing cycles without getting a bill, and it got their attention going into the second week of December, and I got a new bill in January. But other than that hiccup, it had to do with the smart meters being installed. When I noticed I wasn't getting the bill, I proactively jumped on it. They worked with me. But other than that, in the latter stages of last year with the smart meter, I've never had any problem. All of these Jennifer Lukey stories, horror stories of customers, this and that. If you keep a credit, I even asked several people, I guess, who had jobs like Mr. Lewis, am I put in a special category because I'm always in the black?
No. That's what that's why I gotta ask for you, Keith. How do you access this white privilege where you can just drop hundreds of dollars into your bill and have credits? I'm stuck on this one. Where do I access this white privilege?
You could do it too. Why do you make it a race thing? And there you go. Before you let me go here, insofar as the community wanting to have a community-run utility, at the beginning of the show, Mr. P.O., you said you always spoke the truth, and then you named Mr. Lewis there. Apparently, you P.O., want a community-run. Let me ask everyone in the audience, you think these stupid lefty activists would be any good at running utility? They can't even run their own lives.
Thank you.
Where's the city of Rochester and Monroe County going to get the money to buy RG&E?
Yeah, where are they going to get that money from?
From all the money we save from Doge.
No.
Come on, Jose. You showed your true hand there, saying, jumping all over your co-host there. You're supposed to be a savvy guy. Any community-run utility, you think RG&E is bad in quotations, in theory, in all practicality. And I before you mentioned Fairport and Spencerport, I was going to mention them, certainly Fairport, which I have little knowledge of, but Dr. Savage said they're heavily subsidized, which I kind of did not know. But there are much, but the two hosts did say properly, Mr. P.O., that they are Fairport, Spencerport are smaller entities. But for something as large as what RG&E covers, countywide, etc., no community-run utility with these foolish lefties who, again, you think it's bad now. They can't even run their own lives. They're all...
I hear you, Keith.
Thank you so much for giving us a call and for giving us some insight into that.
I want to jump in real quick just to kind of tap down that glowing endorsement of RG&E's billing system. When I went back for a second stint, which was a terrible idea, it was right in the middle of that billing issue where customers were not getting bills for months, and you had phone calls coming in from elderly customers who then, when their billing system caught up, their account was set up on auto pay, and they were getting withdrawals from their account of thousands of dollars.
Well, here's the thing. And before we get to our next caller, I know we got the mic holding there. You got to take some personal accountability for your own life. Yes. My bills are paid on the 1st and 15th of every month. I split them up in half, and my alarm tells me, today's the 1st, you need to pay these bills. Even though I know it. I know I got to pay these bills on the 1st, these bills on the 15th. I know it already, but I still have my alarm set up every single month to tell me this is what's going to happen. And then it also tells me your car loan is going to come out tomorrow. Make sure you have money in there. I always have money in there. I've never overdrawn, but still, it still alerts me because you never know what might happen, where they might forget to send you a bill or some kind of glitch in the system. We got the mic on the line. How you doing, brother?
Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to agree with Keith.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, the city of Rochester can't even clean up the garbage in the inner loop. Okay? You're talking that little stretch of road there, okay? You can't even clean the garbage up there. You can't keep the Kia boys from stealing cars or the other idiots of riding their dirt bikes down North Clinton. And you want to give those the city of Rochester and all the morons that run the joint the responsibility to keep the upkeep of the power lines.
Yeah, they're ignorant.
Listen, and they'll fight. Listen, they'll fight Spencerport and they'll fight Fairport of those and actually Churchville has their own electric system, but it's a whole different mentality of people running that. Okay, and that's one point. The second point is, as far as natural gas, why aren't we fracking down in the southern tier? We are sitting on hundreds of years of natural gas below our feet. Okay, we could have it in our homes, and Bob had already mentioned it about transmission. We literally could have a pipe from down and an almond up to Rochester.
Didn't Cuomo fight that? There was a time where they were trying to frack here, and then Cuomo fought it or killed it.
Cuomo fought it.
All Democrats will fight it. All of them will fight it because
the Democrats want to keep you in the dark.
Well, not only that, you hear these horror stories of the gas getting leaked into the water as well. I mean, do you want that to happen, Mike?
Doesn't happen.
Bob is correct. It does very, very.
You saying that's fake news?
It's fake. It's fake
information.
Fracking has been done for 60 years. Yeah. Point me to one accident that's happened.
I don't know. I think I saw Aaron Brockovich going after it or something at some point. Mike, thank you so much for calling.
I will say this: what people don't know about RG&E and just going, speaking to the accountability side. One of the reasons why some of the delivery charges go up, the merchant function charges go up. They have a huge heap welfare bill.
Yeah, there is.
When Keith brought up the delinquent customers, well, a lot of these delinquent customers have been repeat customers who are on the system, who's been getting their RG&E paid for years. But let me tell you how it works. So let's say if you are on the system and you're cranking your heat up to 80 degrees every month because you don't care how high your heat bill is because you're not responsible for paying it.
Right.
You don't pay it. Now you get that bill each month. Let's say you get a $500 bill this dead winter. Again, you're not responsible for it. RG&E gets those bills from the county. The county says, hey, listen, this customer, this is their monthly bill, $500, $600, $700, right? Well, RG&E, the county will say, okay, RG&E, guess what? We're only going to send you $100 a month because that's all RG&E gets. But yet these customers are continuously carrying outstanding balances that just mount up. And, as a company, for the company itself, that causes other parts of your business to increase. Now, I'm not saying
it's socialism.
It is, right. But I'm not saying that I'm trying to give RG&E a pass because there's other things that they do that I just do not like. But if you're talking about accountability, there is no push to educate people on conserving. There's no push to educate people on how to weather strip your home. A lot of these houses, it's like a six in one hand, half a dozen other. We talked about on the show how there's a housing problem right now. A lot of these houses that need a lot of work. Well, some of these houses are not energy efficient. Some of these houses, right? Not at all.
All of them,
right?
They're old,
right?
faster and late. They got freaking just drafts everywhere. I got drafts everywhere
So
in my
why
house.
don't city council look into that? Why don't city council look into?
Because they don't listen to the people.
They don't.
They'd rather just give the money out. And what they'll end up doing is giving grant funding out, like through NeighborWorks, which they do have, which is actually a really good program, in my opinion, because we have such old, drafty homes. My house is over 100 years old.
But these are people who own houses. They're ones that's going to get this, but they'll never give it to the investor. They'll never give these breaks to the housing provider. You know, because they're going to say, well, you should have money to do it. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? This person is not paying me rent. I'm not getting my equal value of this house. So I'm not going to invest into this shack that these people just keep jacking up every single day. I'm not going to go put in new windows. You know, the money is not there for a lot of these types of investors. So that's when they end up becoming slumlords.
They're going to end up, I guarantee this is what's going to happen because they already pushed for good cause eviction. They're going to push for subsidizing rent.
Yes, subsidizing rent. Now you want public utilities. What else do you want?
Can you feed my cat for me?
I mean,
I don't have a cat. These people out here who have cats.
Socialism is on its way here in Rochester, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's taken over. It's gone.
Probably.
Rochester's gone. I'm calling it right now. Rochester's gone to the socialists. We're going to take a break here at WYSL Station, the voice of liberty. We are the politically correct boys. LaValle Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio. 585-346-3000. When we come back, we're going to jump a little more to this. We didn't even get a chance to talk about the smart meters too much. We're going to jump into that conversation when we come back.
Every time we together, it never be the same. If you're not here, how can you stay away so?
God bless America.
Okay. Oh, for the municipal ownership of RGE, I've got one word for those guys: Cuba. You want to see what a government-run power company looks like?
Cuba?
Cuba.
That's a government-run?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, everything's government-run in Cuba. It's a communist country. The electricity 4 hours a day.
That makes sense, right? Because they're going to force you to conserve.
There's no money.
They're going green, you know? It's just it's good for the environment. It's
crazy.
Bob. It's good for the environment.
Now, what are you going to do with the union workers? What are you going to do with the employees, the people who already know how to run that place? Like, there are some good people that work
Why
in
would you get rid of
RGE.
them?
Well, no, but they make so much money. They make a lot. Like,
Doge cut them.
It's a small, like, they consolidated a lot of the inner workings of RG&E, and they outsource a lot of the customer service work. I mean, you can definitely do that. You can get away with that. But the people that run it locally, you need people here locally that knows the area, know the parts that needs more attention than others. You know what I mean? The forest, the woods that we got in Webster and Irondequoit are crazy. And the amount of trees that fall on a windy freaking night, a stormy night, cause a lot of damage. It takes about 8 hours for one pole to be, taken out and then erected, right? So you have to pay a lot of money for that. Like, who's gonna the price per hour for a crew at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, that has to get up and get out to get your power back up. That costs a lot of money, but also you need the right people to do the job.
Yeah, we get all that.
Yeah, but
if you keep all the same
who's
people,
gonna do? They're not. That's impossible.
You cut the nonsense charges that they charge,
bro. The city don't have that money,
and then you cut the profits, all the profits that NYSEG and NYSERDA have been making, and Iberdrola have been making. You cut all those profits, and you put it back into the company.
That definitely sounds communism. Cut their profits. You come in and take over, and it
could be called a co-op. It could be called communism, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
It's got to be cheaper than what we have currently.
It won't be. It won't. It might. You know what? It just might be cheaper because you're going to get less for your money. You're going to get less power. You're going to get they have smart meters in place now, so they can literally shut you down. In the
Shut you
summertime,
down
they say,
anyway,
guess
so-
what? You know what, y'all? Since you're using AC units, we're going to throttle down your power levels. And if you plug in that AC, you're gonna your circuit breakers are gonna trip every single time. You don't have enough power to feed your house with enough electricity for those flat screen TVs you got on top of the AC unit you wanna use.
We got a bunch of comments online here. Let's go back to the beginning. A friend of mine noticed the smart meters click on and off and determined a penny is charged for each click of a kilowatt hour, which would add $1,200 a year to the bill. Almost everyone I know who has a smart meter, this has happened to.
Wait, so I mean, again, anything that thing does that uses electricity, it's coming through that meter. It's going to be read. So if it's doing that, then that could be just another trick that they have in place where they can make more money.
Could be. I like this trick here. Barbara said, we have all these waterfalls in our area. Why aren't we harnessing these? Hoko loves electricity so much. Why doesn't she create a commission to look into harnessing the water power we have? Which we do. There is something currently that does, but I was going to get into that in a little bit. It's like, why is that not appropriate enough? How do we have solar farms and hydroelectric power?
Because they got to make money from it. That's why Nikola Tesla was abused. That's why he came to Rochester to see our falls and see if he could, find a way to get free energy. That's going to be a age-old argument forever, man. How do we have sustainable energy that is next? It should not cost us this much to be able to use energy.
Considering Tesla said it comes, he was able to harness it from the atmosphere.
Right, yeah,
it was free.
And then just think where you have General Electric and the Westinghouse, globalists who said, "Nah, we can't. No, we can't have that. We need to find a way to make money off of this. This is about as good. It's about as as important as oil right now."
Did you see that documentary about those electric cars they had back in the day?
Yeah,
and they took them all back.
Yeah, man,
that was sick.
Yeah, we're so behind right now with that, but it's by design. It's something.
Politically correcting.
It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna see that's gonna make it hard to smell it. But whatever you see, through all the rain.
Dr. Bob out here.
You gotta keep your sense of humor.
Rain on me.
Put a smile through all this.
We're discussing RGE.
Scarface.
Discussing RGE with the price hikes. My monthly billing, I pay a certain amount every month. I've been paying a certain amount every month because that's just the way I like it. Last year, it jumped up about 40 to 45%. And then this past 2 months, it's jumped up almost double. So about another 40, 45% as well. So I've gone almost a 3x in my monthly bill within past 4 years, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. There's really nothing you can do, man. I tell people all the time when I
hate that answer.
Yeah, I know, but I when I try and educate them on just their bill and ways they can save and conserve, I'm like, you got to look at the gas pump. If you see the gas pump go up, you see that price going up, chances are your price per therm is going to go up or your price per kilowatt is going to go up. The market is always going to dictate your bill.
I know, but I hate putting up plastic on my windows. It's so ugly. It's so ghetto to me. It's disgusting. It's so trashy. I took out freaking the plugs and put the barrier there to stop wind, because you get drafts from your outlets. People don't realize that. You absolutely do.
Yeah, you got to check your furnace, make sure your furnace is up to date and
cleaned out as well. The HVAC.
You got to have the air filters in place, and then also again, weather strip your house. They do have options where you can, I think, call NYSERDA. NYSERDA can come and do an energy audit for you.
NeighborWorks will do it for you.
Oh, NeighborWorks
pretty much for free, and
that's good.
They'll tell you exactly what you need, and sometimes there's grant funding depending on how much you make. The household makes.
Don't insulate your attic. Keep your attic. Your attic has to be the coldest place. What I learned, you keep your attic cold. That keeps the heat down below.
Mine's a finished attic.
See that, but again, if it's finished, you still you don't want it to have heat going up there, because what happens if you got heat on top of your roof, that's going to,
create icicles.
Right, create icicles. It's going to warm up the roof. It's going to deteriorate the roof, and also you're losing all of that heat. All that heat is just escaping out of the top of the house. So like I said, just looking into like the inner communities, instead of talking and blaming on the trying to create a boogeyman. Try educating the people in the inner cities. I know for a fact that they are not, aware of how to save, because I talk to them all the time. There's always, I didn't read my meter. Y'all read it every month. No, we don't read it every month. We read it every other month.
There's either an A or an E next to the number.
Yeah, and your meter's inside, so they haven't been able to get in for 7 years.
Right.
Well, I don't know why my bill is like this, because they just read the meter, right? Then they just caught up.
You're finally catching up, right? That's the thing about smart meters and why they push for this so hard. And when they first came out,
that's what they told you.
Right, that's what they told us. And I sat there and I said, when I was on city council, I said, how does this make sense to you? If any company invests in a new product and a new technology, they charge the people who are going to utilize that technology. If there's a benefit to that technology, they charge the people who will benefit from it. So if they're sitting there saying that your account every month will already know how much you need to pay, you don't have to call it in, yada, yada, yada. I get a text every month saying when I need to read my meters. I've never had an issue until I rejected the smart meters. And I was very vociferous about it. I said, I personally am not investing any amount of energy into convincing you that this is a bad idea. I'm saying from my own, what I've looked at myself, what I've seen in other countries, England, for example, smart meters are just not a good idea. And it doesn't make sense that the people who are experiencing the benefits of it get it for free, while those who don't want the technological upgrades have to pay an extra amount per month. That doesn't make sense. And here we are, 2 years, 3 years later, with most people on smart meters, and everybody's bills are jacked up. I see in the comments on the News 10 interview, smart meters were brought up multiple times, with many folks claiming their bills have gone higher ever since they installed those. I just told you myself, though, that my bill has gone up, which is crazy to me. What do you mean? I've had consistent energy usage.
What portion of it? Like, how are you evaluating it? Is it the electric? Is it the gas? What part of that bill has gone up?
Well, I look at both the electric and the gas. I look at the graph on each and see what I have.
The graphs, I've never paid attention to graphs.
No?
Yeah, the graphs, it's for show, really.
It showed me that I had higher usage, this month than last year this month. And I'm like, well, I got the electric, stupid hybrid out there. Yeah, I can see that electric part. What about the gas? They're like, oh, it's been colder. It's been a colder winter. I'm like, I remember some pretty cold freaking Februaries out there. So this isn't the first time we've had freezing cold temperatures, but it's the first time I had to pay a $300 bill. I mean, most people, or many people out there listening, by like $300, that's nothing. But there's a lot of people out there that are like $300. Man, my bill's only $17 I can expense report.
Yeah, you can ask RGE to do an evaluation of that, where it's called a degree day, so they can go back and do research and find out what the temperature was last year and versus this year. And they'll give you a report of that and let you know, so you had
Daryl
X amount of degree days, right? So they'll tell you how many more degree days or days where your furnace could have been operating based on, the weather from last year. So that's how they kind of figure out or let you know, this year there's 10 more degree days than last year.
Well,
so
my Nest tells me too. I invested in a Nest thermostat.
Oh, you're a little efficient guy.
I try to be as efficient as I can and only have temperature range from this point to this point at this time. But it tells you every single month, like, this is how much energy you use, and this is what you used last month. And when I see that jump up, I'm like, babe, turn that heat down. We got Daryl on the line. How you doing, brother?
Hey guys. Jose, I'm like you, man. I rejected the smart meter.
Good for you.
I read the FAQs when they were discussing the smart meters before the installation, and there's one question: can you be turned off without having a technician come out to your home and turn yourself off? I read it and said blah 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 blah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be turned off remotely, and that's what scares me.
That and it was brought up, I think, during the break, Daryl, also the fact that they can kind of keep your energy usage at a certain amount during peak times. Was that on there as well, Daryl? Is he still there?
I didn't see that, but that's another thing. Yes, they could shut you off, and yes, if you're naughty, they can also cut you off at nighttime or something like that, right?
Yeah, they probably didn't put it in FAQs, but that was a question that we asked them, and they didn't really have an answer for that. And they're like, well, right now we don't do that. Is really the answer. That's the same thing they said about the vaccines and requiring it. Yeah. Right now we don't require it. Okay, that doesn't mean you're not going to require it in the future. Mm-hmm. Daryl, thank you so much for calling, and you're a smart man, in my opinion. I'm not saying that those who got the smart meters were stupid. I'm just saying that if you did a little bit of research, you might have seen that they're, and some people are just like, look, I don't care. I'm paying my bill every month. They're not going to shut me off. I don't care. My concern was going to be exactly that, where they're looking at how much energy usage you use at a time when maybe it's really bad. So in 2030 in New York State, everything is going electric. Everything is going electric. And so at that point, we're not going to have an increase in our infrastructure in New York State in the next 5 years to the point that can handle even double the amount of electrical devices we're using currently. We're talking about electric vehicles. My landscaping company has to upgrade everything electrical. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to have a lawnmower that's going to cut, one grass before it has to be recharged. Mm-hmm. Like it's just ridiculous what they're pushing. And the school buses, the fire department trucks, the garbage trucks, these are all extremely high usage vehicles that we are not prepared for. But yet we've invested in solar farms and hydroelectric power, but that's not even keeping up with what we need currently. Mm. So what are we doing here? What are we doing wrong? Do we need to invest more in hydroelectric power, more in solar farms?
Just figure out how much the government is getting paid to push this initiative.
Or into the nuclear.
Yeah. Well, they are in bed with the electric companies. This is a way for the electric companies to secretly earn more money, of course. Iberdrola is a huge company.
And they're not even... This is what boggles my mind.
They're not American.
They're not American company. No, so you're talking about, at some point, everyone knows this. At some point, our infrastructure is going to be attacked. Our utilities are going to be attacked. We're going to have no electricity at some point. It might be 100 years down the road. It might be 2 years down the road. A foreign entity owning our infrastructure, our utilities, is not okay in my books. Not okay. That's why we need a publicly owned one. We're going to come back after this quick break. WYSL station 585-346-3000. Do you agree with me? Public utility company, you agree with Lavelle, and it's got to be the oligopoly that takes over and keeps charging us more and more.
No, hold the government accountable. The Public Service Commission.
585-346-3000. Give us a call.
I'm Greece Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Joe Robach. If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber. We are the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live.
Andy from Dansville.
Come from throughout the region. In short, we are better together, and together we can move your business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today. You'll be glad you did.
Open Door Mission is deeply grateful. Because of your generous hearts, you've opened many doors. For those in need to find shelter with respect and dignity. For families who are revitalized with hope and strength. For restored, healthy relationships for those on the road to lifelong recovery. For people empowered with new skills and opportunities. With your continued help, more doors will open. Please go to opendoormission.com.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my
last spot,
we're the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Politically correcting.
Go, shorty. This is your birthday.
I think I might throw a 6-month birthday party for myself this year.
Wow. Doesn't get any more narcissistic.
Very narcissistic. Lavelle Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio. We are the politically correcting boys. We got a caller from Dansville. Andy, how you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. What you got for us?
What I got for you is years ago, they were going to do this, and the people wrote bills and said, hey, you can't have those smart meters on the meter. You know, we don't want that crap. And then in 2008, they came out and said, well, we're looking at imposing this upon you, so you can opt out of this at no cost to you, and everything was okay. Now we're back to, I had to call the phone company and say, hey, look, I don't want a smart meter. I signed this thing back in 2008, and I gave it to a company, and there was supposed to be no fee, and why should I have to pay a fee when previously you said you did? Well, it was like talking to a wall. They had no answers. So like, so it's either you pay or you get a smart meter. And I was like, there's my complaint. There's my thought. It's just a matter of this is what we're going to do, and if you don't like it, you're just going to have to pay us not to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm glad you saw it as well. Do you see the similarities between this and the COVID vaccine, that with the requirements, it's like we're going to coerce you into this one way or another?
Well, that's pretty much it. It seems to be in modern politics of business these days. And I think it was your partner there who said, hey, why don't they put it underground? Well, in the 70s, they were looking to jack their prices up, and everybody said, no. And they got a thing from the government saying, well, they told the government, well, we're going to put all these power lines underneath ground, and that'll take care of the problems with people, broken telephone poles, people hitting with their cars, that kind of thing. It'll solve a lot of problems. So they got their raise in the rate, and then I don't know any place in the world around here that's got it underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That costs a lot of money, man.
Of course it does. Thank you, Andy.
Oh, sorry.
And then they run the lines. It doesn't sound like that much, but it's something else. You got to have the sideways drill, and it's an endeavor. I admit it, but still.
Yeah, you got to watch out for all the sewer lines, the water lines, the internet lines that are all underground as well. So it's not an easy thing. You don't just freaking take a shovel and just dig in. No, you got to backhoe all the way. You got to make sure you got all the right, flags in the way so you're not going to hit the wrong spot. Thank you, Andy, so much for calling. Appreciate you.
There's a lot to that, man. And they, for the way the RG&E kind of gets out of the monopoly accusation is you do have the option to go with another supply company. They used to call the energy supply company ESCO, to where you'll have like these random people coming up and say, hey, who's the RG? Right, exactly. We'll give you an option. You can switch to this company, which end up being a headache. Yeah. It's hard to get out of them sometimes. Right. But these ESCO companies or these energy supply companies that are out there don't really provide another service. You'll still have RG&E that's charging you for the delivery. Still have RG&E that's charging you for the just to get a bill alone, the customer service charge itself. That one will always trickle up, and the Public Service Commission always bow down to them, say, okay, well, we approve it.
So what are we going to do when 2030 hits and we have to go electric everything? We're talking your gas stove is gone. We're talking your lawnmower is gone. You're talking your vehicles are gone. The city fleet, the state fleet, the county fleet, all have to be electric. What are we going to do?
Find a way to be energy efficient on our own. We can't be reliant upon the only option that we have, which is government ran utility service. It's still government ran. The state works alongside this
discounted
company.
And that all the profits will go right back into my pocket. I was told that.
That's what Al Gore fed you, huh?
Yeah, Al Gore and my local Democratic elected leaders.
They still believe it too, though. They still believe that is a viable way. But
I trust these people because they know business, obviously.
They do.
They're really good at running businesses in New York, or running them out of New York. But something that popped up recently, New York governor is hoping to capitalize on the growing pool of possible hires, saying the Fed government is firing, we're hiring. She said in a commercial. Hochul has launched a new initiative to recruit workers into state service as the federal government is laying off thousands of highly qualified workers. The governor announced the You're Hired initiative in response to the Department of Governmental Efficiency's moves to lay off federal workers. So we're going to pay for more state workers
What is our overall debt for this state? Like we're in the red. What's our current debt right now? We gotta have a deficit that's like 70 billion.
You want to know the current debt, or you want to know the current budget?
The deficit that we have right now.
Okay, deficit in New York State. I'm going to ask AI.
AI will let us know what it is.
368 billion.
368 billion. So I was off by like 310 billion.
Right. So if we took over the public utilities, made them public utilities, we can take that profit and pay down our debt. Look at that. It's a win-win for everybody.
Look at Iberdrola's profit.
All right.
Wait a minute. You bought something and you got a profit?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Let's see.
When you bought your plug-in Jeep, did you make a profit on it?
Yeah. We didn't know the government's in the business of making money either.
I did make a profit on it.
That's not how capitalism works.
Iberdrola reported a net profit, not a gross profit, a net profit of 4.8 billion.
4.8 billion.
That's a 10.7% increase compared to the previous year.
Not bad.
So that's pretty good. But
and they recorded investments of 11.38 billion.
And what's our deficit? What was our deficit?
New York State?
Yeah.
368 billion.
So we're still deficit 368. Let's say they take over a company which the entity they have no idea how to function or run.
Allegedly.
So let's say, and this is the Iberdrola altogether, not just locally here in Rochester.
Right.
So the profits even shrink even more. So for the state to kind of invest in buying a company, then invest in the infrastructure just to only make maybe $1 billion a year, doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm a businessman too, Jose. Doesn't sound like a good deal.
See, you just don't get it, all right? You just don't understand that RGE, they made a profit of 12 million.
Oh.
12 million.
Only?
I'm sorry, I read that wrong. 122 million. 122 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an increase from their 2023 profit of 107 million. The funny thing, when AI gave me the answer for New York State's debt, it said this includes various forms of state-supported debt and general obligation debt, right? The state has seen an increase in its debt levels over recent years, with projections indicating further growth in the coming years. So we're going to see more debt.
So we're going to see more government growth. That means our government is getting bigger.
Yeah, because we're hiring federal workers who are fired because they weren't doing their daggone job and because they're going up against the America First.
And this is why I respect the Republican platform of smaller, lesser government.
Got to make it political.
We have to shrink the government some way, somehow. I mean, we're on this show, on this station, this is where you're going to come for any type of Republican talking points, right? And then actually present it in the local political world.
And then I bring the good.
Oh no! You just prop up the communists on the left, and make them sound
the socialists. Not the communists.
No, they're communists. Communist socialists. You try and make it palatable for us to swallow as Republicans.
Swallow this public utility.
Swallow it. And it's mostly gays on that side anyway. So I don't want to swallow anything from that side. I'm good. I'm okay with swallowing anything from the left.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to disagree that there's more gays in the Democratic Party. I think that's a pretty substantial point to make there. That there's nothing you can fight against that. But at the same time, we care about the environment over here on the left.
No.
I mean, I have a hybrid vehicle, for goodness sake.
Yeah, you do. So. But you all hate Teslas now.
Yeah, that's
you
stupid.
Guys all hate
that's
Teslas.
so dumb. Do you see people that are like spray painting Tesla and stuff? Like I would look. I got hit up one time. Someone freaking slashed my tire downtown.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I said I didn't go downtown for a while, and I was just heated. I was like, how does someone just go around doing this? I was so heated about that. Had I seen that person doing it, I tell you right now, I would have killed them. I would have killed them. I would have, because how dare you?
How disrespectful.
Just like,
you're violating.
What kind of person even thinks that a product of someone else's work? I put a lot of freaking time, effort into making sure that my family's taken care of, my home is taken care of. I get to have a little bit of fun with a little bit of money I have left over to be able to buy things that I really like. And there's really only one thing that I shouldn't say only one thing. I like bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy a good cigar, and I love my Jeeps. This is my third Jeep. I love my Jeeps. And for you to come at one of those three things, dude,
it's disrespectful.
But I encourage anyone else out there. Maybe you might not love your vehicle as much as I love, my Jeeps, but they're stealing it from you, and they're stealing parts from you, and they're beating up your vehicle. You can't get to work. Start fighting back, because the police aren't coming.
Well, as a Democrat, it's actually not yours. It's not yours. It's the community's.
You know what? You're right.
We all have. This is equity and inclusion.
It's my form of reparation to allow my vehicle to be stolen from me.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you guys listening into another show here. We love you guys very much. We'll see you or listen to us back on Monday. Share with your friends and family.
That's all I'm living for. Yeah. We wanna pressure you, baby. But all I ever wanted to do, I wanna be your lover. I wanna be the only one that makes you run in. I wanna be your lover. I wanna turn you on, turn you out, all night long, make you shout.